Hey guys, we're back with The Infected, breaking down Last of Us, Episode 1 of Season 2. Let's get into it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Till the End of the Line podcast. I'm your boy Juan G, and always with me,
Kikati?
That's right. Didn't even mean to rhyme there. It just happens.
Nice.
Because I am not a rapper whatsoever.
No, he's not.
Nope.
No.
And as he said, we are going to be talking about Last of Us Season 2, Episode 1, Future Days. I am excited.
Yes.
Got my Last of Us shirt that producer made for us. Thank you again so much again. I've been anxiously waiting for this episode. Because, as I've said before, I started the game, and after looking at how long the cutscenes are, I probably only got like 30% of the way. I haven't checked. So, for most of this season, I'm going to be with most of you fans that have not played the game, and I'm going to be following the season with you all. So, I am excited to see what happens this season. But before that, we have a little bit of nerd news. All right, so first up, we have Doomsday. As of the day we are filming this, has started filming.
April 28th.
Yeah, has started filming in London, so that's exciting. We also have the TVA comic number 5. Wanda is free from the TVA officially.
Correct.
Yeah.
So in like a fight with Nightmare and what's the Gwen?
Spider-Gwen?
Spider-Gwen was there. With the whole fight situation, and so just don't know what I seen was only like 5 different pages, but it's basically she is a variant. It's not the 616.
Okay.
But she looks identical to her, and with that, they're saying that there's rumors of the Brotherhood of what's it called? What's Magneto's Brotherhood?
Isn't it Brotherhood of Mutants?
Yeah, Brotherhood of Mutants.
Okay.
And I'm guessing this is probably. If they do have a Wanda and a Pietro, this would probably be that variant version of it.
Okay, and that's the one where Magneto is their father, so that makes sense why they broke them out. Interesting.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And the other cool thing, this one was more live. It was like an interview for one of our more recent things we covered as Sinners. So Michael B was being interviewed, and he let slip that he was currently filming in London and how beautiful London is and da, 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 da. I don't know any projects he's working on.
And then all the nerds' ears perked up and were like, Doomsday's filming in London.
Yep.
And there were also rumors that he's going to be reprising his role as Johnny Storm in the much want to be forgotten Fantastic Four film. But that'd be interesting to see. Like we were talking about, it'd be cool to see variants in Doomsday. If that works out, cool. Yeah. Because, again, I don't think he did a bad job as that character. It was just a movie that was awful.
No, right. So, I don't think the acting was bad in that movie.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Miles Teller did good as Mr. Fantastic. Yeah,
absolutely. As Reed. Yeah, for sure. Ben Grimm, I mean, even though he just voiced him, was pretty solid. The CGI was a little... Obviously, Doom did not look comic book accurate. That was like a weird... morphed Power Ranger looking thing, like a Green Ranger.
True, and then his power set was also they did go a little bit more comic accurate with the green goo around it, but around his powers or whatever power set that is, I'm not even completely sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
But weird. They didn't really give him lightning, or did he?
Well, because he's actually more on the mystical side of it, So his powers, tech and mystical, But no, there hasn't been an accurate version of him
portrayed yet.
So I'm pretty sure this Doom that we're gonna see is gonna be it, or the permanent Doom from the future is gonna be that. So but yeah, I mean, I'm psyched. I wouldn't mind seeing Michael B come back as saying his flame on. Maybe actually say flame on this time.
Yeah, because he never said the tagline in the old movies.
Yeah, but I mean, if Reed is in the future plans, there's gonna be a council of Reeds. There's no way they're not going to bring back, John Krasinski and Miles Teller and what's the other guy's name? from the first Fantastic Four.
Oh, his name is like Ian something, I think, or
something.
It's an odd spelling too, so I don't know how to actually pronounce it. But yeah, the
How
one
does he go
from the
Mr. Fantastic to playing basically every evil person you can think of. Every episode, everything he's done since then. Bad Boys, he's a bad guy.
Yeah, he's got range, I guess.
Yeah, he just became a villain and everything else after becoming Mr. Fantastic.
That's true.
So, well, yeah, whatever. But that's it for Nerd News.
That is it. So make sure you like and subscribe. Click that notification bell to keep up with the latest in Nerd News. Now, on to our newest segment. Don't react. It is right. Geeka's turn to center your chi and try not to react to these. Now, you did 4, so I get 4. Mm-hmm. All right. My first one is... Oh, hold on. Clicked on the wrong. Okay. What's Moby Dick's dad's name? You're already going to make yourself laugh. Don't even do it to yourself.
Okay. I'm making myself laugh. Yes. Thinking of the goofy-ass names I can think of. But I don't know.
Papa Boner. Very good. Good stone face.
Damn, right. I didn't think of that.
You laugh.
Yeah, you laugh. You can't. No, I'm just kidding. No, he has to laugh at my punchline. All right. That one didn't work. Oh, yeah. What does a horny toad say? Rub it. See, I know which ones to make the producer laugh, but just not. I don't think I freaking figured out.
The first one was better.
Okay. Yeah? All right. Okay. You're a chef, so you might like this one. What do you call an Italian hooker? A prostitute. That's a smile, my man.
That's cute.
I don't know if that counts. Do we count that? You got you to smile.
Tell me the fourth one.
Okay. I didn't think I could do better than that one, but give me a few seconds.
Prostitute's good. What's that other one where it's like, what do you call a fake pasta? An impasta?
That's a bad dad joke. Okay. Why are men like popcorn?
Why?
They satisfy you, but only for a little while.
No, and prostitute one was better.
All right, got him.
Or prostitute, not impostitute.
Yeah. All right.
That pasta one's pretty funny.
I figured. I saw them. See,
I smiled.
It was either a dirty joke, and then I seen one that catered to your chef side. I was like, oh, that's got to win it right there. Hell yeah. All right. That was fun.
Yeah. So I drank twice.
Yep. Alrighty. On to
Last of Us episode 1.
Last of Us episode 1. This was a solid premiere episode.
Oh yeah.
And as I said, I'm not gonna know most of the season, but I do remember the beginning fairly enough, and I'm liking that the show, as they did in season 1, is broadening the storyline a little bit, because we don't meet Abby this early in the game.
Right.
So let's kick us off with the stats for the episode.
So 5 years after the events of Salt Lake City, Abby's now, now 19-year-old Ellie makes a discovery while on patrol with her best friend Dina, back in Jackson Hole.
Jackson Hole, not Jackal. That's a whole different kind of genre.
That's a different Last of Us. Joel seeks to help mend his relationship with Ellie. Mm-hmm. So this one actually rated kind of low on the 7.5 out of 10. I expected everything to be an 8, but I don't think it's deserving of it being that low, but I don't know. Well, to each your own. The episode opens up with right off where the last season ended, where they're on like the mountaintop, and Ellie goes, was everything you said to me about the Fireflies true? And Joe says, I swear. And okay. Then it flips over to the Fireflies burying the men that Joel killed in the and at this point, how do we know Maybe later in the episode. Later in the episode, we find out why Abby's after him, right? Because in the beginning, I didn't realize why.
No, they talk about it at the grave. They say
that the dad was.
No, that we don't find out.
Okay.
But they know. They talk about that Joel killed those people.
Right.
They don't know his name, but they allude to it being him, and I guess we as the audience kind of know that who they're talking about because they describe him. Oh no, she says his name.
She says Joel. Yeah,
yeah, she says Joel. So never mind. But yeah, so we find out specifically who they kill later on. I think in episode 2 isn't until we find out
when the big
reveal
happens.
Yeah,
okay. Gotcha. So Abby wants to go after Joel. She seems to be the leader of those fireflies. And then what's the white guy's name?
Which white guy?
Kind of like our second in command.
Tommy?
No.
Oh,
that's
hers.
Joel's brother.
I don't remember his name.
Because he's like, maybe we should go to Seattle and, get the resources that they have and then go after. And she's upset because they didn't go after them immediately. So now this, at this point, it's 3 days after the whole. Excuse me. The whole hospital.
Just had a Red Bull too.
I did. I was up early. I was up at like 6:30.
Fair point.
But yeah, so they go after. Or it's 3 days later after that. Now, after this happens, it kicks forward 5 years, and now we're in current time.
Well, he told her too that Joel took off in their only working vehicle, and then they were trying to mend the people that were still alive, but they didn't save. Oh, and then Abby, kind of replies back to that saying, "But we didn't save anybody."
Right.
So that's why she's pissed that all those people died and he got away.
Right.
Which I did want to talk really quick about the actress playing Abby. I'm really glad that they went with her. Mm-hmm. She's a great actress. I remember from Last Man Standing, one of Tim Allen's shows recently. But I was a little bummed that they didn't go with someone accurate to her body type. I was hoping when we got news that this actress got the role that she was going to beef up a little bit, because the actress or the character in the game is very. She reminds me of Ronda Rousey, but she's not that built. She's like a weight class underneath Ronda Rousey because she's a little stocky up top, but she's strong in the game.
Really?
Yeah. So I was a little bummed, but I knew that this actress was gonna nail the role because she's a good actress, like I said. So I was like, all right, well, they didn't go with like how you say sometimes you're bummed because some of the comic characters aren't comic accurate look wise.
Not some. It's just one in particular.
Oh, Captain Marvel. Fair enough. All right, that's true. You have only said that one. So similar to your opinion of Captain Marvel, how I was. Yeah, it was how I was with Abby. But I got past it quick because I knew she was gonna kill it as this role, and she is for sure so far.
Yeah, and I guess with the whole in my defense in Brie Larson, it's nothing against her. I just didn't have confidence in the range that she has. Because I've seen her in like cute comedies. I've seen her. Scott Pilgrim, Envy Adams, but I don't know. I just couldn't see her as a superhero.
Okay.
Or action film, nonetheless. When was the last time I've seen her in an action film?
That's a good point. Yeah.
That was my. But I mean, she didn't do bad. It's just she doesn't look the part. But I mean, when I think Captain Marvel, I think Brie Larson now. So,
nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh no, I guess I did skip over a part. It was kind of crazy where she's like slowly. He's like, that's why I asked what his name was because I couldn't remember what his name was. But he's like, what? She's like, when we kill him slowly. I'm like, oh, damn.
Yeah, she's got revenge on her mind 100%. Yeah.
Pissed. Yeah.
Language.
So 5 years forward, Ellie is training. Well, we don't know she's training, but she seems to be fighting someone in the barn. Mm-hmm. Turns out she's training.
Yeah.
And Jesse tells her, Jesse, right? That's his name?
Yes.
Jesse tells her that, he pulled her punches and, you shouldn't.
Because when she made him tap out, she goes, boom, motherfucker. And he's like, you can't boom, motherfucker, somebody who got the first punch in.
Yeah. He broke her nose, or if not.
No, he just bloodied it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then that's when he admits that, like, oh, he pulled his punch. And then she's like, what? Why? She's like, basically, they're scared of Joel. I think that's
he's
why.
like, I told him to. I didn't want to have to explain that to Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then.
Which is good to see that they're training her.
Yeah.
Because in the game, you have to figure that out on your own. You know what I mean? Well, you have the commands, and it's up to you to
Right,
do
right,
all
right.
that. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it just shows. Holy shit! It just shows that they're setting up for. I mean, this is what a compound would do essentially.
yeah.
And you know, you can't just like go out there out of shape. People on patrol have to be in shape. You know what I mean? It's basically their militia, their military. You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have to. So it makes sense. It checks out. It pans out. So then it switches over to them breaking some like almost like sewage lines kind of thing.
Pipeline, yeah.
Some pipeline, and it's like full like root infested, hardcore. I thought we were gonna see early on like the cordyceps coming through, but we don't see that yet. And then
I think they alluded to that by showing that.
right, that was the purpose of it, right?
For
That's how I took it, too.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
like a hey, look out. Some crazy shit's about to happen.
And I think they knew that too, because when they see that it's Phil, like their only concern is to what do we do now? But I'm pretty sure that it's in some of their minds, like, that's coming through, or do they not know that that's how they communicate yet? I don't think this town knows.
I don't think they know that's how they communicate.
That's true. That's a good point. All right, so go ahead.
So yeah, after that, Dina goes to see Joel in his house, and Joel is working on some electronic thing. I don't remember what it was. Do you remember?
It was like a circuit for some type of electrical, maybe the fuse for an electrical box, something like that. But he was talking. He breaks it down and he tells her like how to fix it, and then if this is bad.
Well, she asked.
Yeah,
because she very much so is like have similar relationships to how Ellie and him are, just not as deep, I guess, just yet. But we see later on that he has feelings for her as like a daughter, him like his father figure, because we don't see her with a father or anything, right? Like she doesn't have a family there.
Didn't no, as far as we know.
Yeah,
so far no.
So she asks, well, can you show me how to fix this thing? So he starts explaining it, but I think that was bullshit. That was just so that she can sit down and like suss out what the hell's going on with him and Ellie.
For sure. Yeah.
So then she's like, out of nowhere, she's like, so why is she mad at you? Like just straight up like.
Well, I like the way she did it. 'Cause she goes, "Can I ask a question?" He's like, "Yeah." He thinks she's gonna ask about about what he's working on, and then she just changes the subject completely. Yeah, it was
like
funny.
A normal fucking teenager would.
Yeah.
And then he's like, she said she's mad at me. She's like, no, but you can just tell. And then he's like, he figures it's normal for a 19-year-old, but he's confused in why she's mad. Like, what did he do? And then he responds with this specific line that gives it away. She's like, that he's not responsible for anyone else's mental state. She's like, are you in therapy?
Yeah.
Because Joel doesn't talk like that. You know what
Correct.
I mean? Like, that's just not the way he talks.
Yeah.
And that's just like textbook, psychotherapy or psychiatrist telling you how to react and how to work through your words and emotions.
Yeah.
And she's like, are you seeing Gail? He's like, don't tell anyone I'm in therapy.
Yeah.
So he's kind of embarrassed about it, which is...
He denies it at first, right?
Yeah, he does deny it. Yeah. Which is...
Unfortunately, how most men
of that age
would react. Correct.
Right,
I'm glad I stopped myself in this sentence.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, we both have... what's the word I'm looking for? Have... saw the benefits in therapy, so we both have lived our lives, and we realize that we're not those type of guys.
Yes,
there's a lot of benefits to having therapy in your life. But do they do that in the game too, or is that something specific?
No, that's something specific to the show. And then I also know that the character that plays, that's later in the episode. I'll bring that up when we get there. So go ahead.
So after that, it switches over to Tommy and Ellie. And they're out on some mountaintops sniping. What do they call them? Walkers, right?
No, that's The Walking Dead. They call them
the infected.
That's what I call them.
Yeah,
but can you look that up for us, producer, please? What do they refer to them as?
Ellie and Tommy are calling the people that they're shooting. Because they haven't turned completely. They don't have the full like cordyceps breaking through their skull and shit. But they still look like zombies at this point. Runners? No, that's not runners. Because runners is what she runs into in episode 1.
You mean in episode 2?
This episode.
Yeah. So this, I forget, they have different terms for
clickers.
Are they just
clickers, but they don't call them clickers in the show. Somebody comment what they call them, and hopefully we'll see that. Yeah. We'll refer to them as infected.
Right.
For right now. Okay.
So, but they're not fully turned, no cordyceps breaking through the forehead. Like, they look
they're in that
humanish.
first stage, kind of. Yeah.
Dead with humanish. So they're sniping out on there or whatever, and she makes a comment. She's like, "There's a lot of them." He's like, "Yeah, I noticed." He's like, "I'm gonna put a patrol out." She's like, "Oh, well, I want to do it." And then he's like, "Actually, I'm gonna have to take you off of patrol. I'm gonna put you on gate duty." And she's like, "Gate duty? What? That's lame, you know?" She's all pissed, and she's like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, because Joel feels like something's wrong with her, you know, just to kind of, I guess, give her a break." And she kind of pulls her charm. And what does she say? Where he's like, "God damn it, you're just like him." And she's like, "Well, then you know you're not going to win this argument with me."
I forget exactly what she says, but yeah, she basically pleads her case as to like, you wouldn't do that if I wasn't or didn't have a relationship with Joel or something like that, I think. Yeah.
Or was it because she's like, or was it because she's screaming that she's immune?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's what it was. She goes, "Well, I'm just gonna go tell everybody that I'm immune." Yeah, you're right. That's what it was.
That's what it was. I remember now.
I made up my own storyline there. Okay, but go
ahead. As you do often.
Yeah, I do.
But yeah. So, question. So, Tommy knows, Joel knows, and that's it that I'm aware of. Who else knows that she's immune?
Maria doesn't.
Maria? I would imagine she would. That's his wife.
I think it's his wife. Those three.
Dina doesn't, right?
No, Dina for sure doesn't. I think at the most it's them three, but I don't remember if we ever seen Tommy tell Maria. But like you said, they're married, so most likely,
and they kind of run the show together. So I don't see.
Yeah,
I don't see him being that type of guy.
I'd put my money that Tommy and Maria know. But okay.
So yeah, that was just a question. But all right. Then it cuts back to Joel talking to Maria. And he's like in an office situation, and there's like apparently a lot of construction they're trying to push through, and he's like, it's good. We're not going to finish till like springtime, I think, or because it's in winter, and he's like, we're not going to finish this until like spring or summer.
Okay.
And she's like, well, we got to hurry up. We got all these people here. Where we're going to put them? He's like, well, then stop taking in more fucking refugees. You know? And then the son, there's Maria and Tommy's son come in, and Joel's really cute with the son, like he treats him like an uncle kind of thing, and. He makes like some like weird thing, like he's looking at the map, and I thought this part was pretty cute where he's like, "Oh, what is this?" She's like, "Oh," he's like, "It's the gate. What's outside the gate?" She's like, "Oh, the monsters." And what do we do with monsters? He's like, "We kill them." He's like, "You killing monsters?" And it's like super cute, such a cute moment.
Yeah.
And then even when he's leaving, after Tommy gets there, this was kind of cool because Tommy lies straight to Joel's face. He's like, "What were you up to?" And he's like, "Oh, I was killing whatever." He's like, "By yourself?" Tommy's like, "Yeah." Clearly lied.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Joe knows exactly who he was with up there. Yeah,
for sure. And when he was leaving, that was really cute when the son... Do you know what the son's name is?
Not off the top of my head. I can remember. But I did like the whole button that he says, well, we press a big button and then imagine, it basically speeds up construction.
Oh, yeah.
He tells that, Joel tells that to Maria, and then when Tommy comes in...
He's like, you tell her about the button?
Yeah. I thought that was really funny.
I bet Maria was like, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Rolled her eyes. Like, it's like if I was having that conversation, or you were having that conversation, then I came to film with you and hang out, and you're telling Christina something, and I'm like, oh, did you tell her about the blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
She's like, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what that is. Yeah, for sure. That was pretty cool. That cool, like... Yeah, that's pretty dope.
A brotherly banter that they have.
Yeah. For sure. That's what I was like, trying to gear towards. But the son part where he's like, all right, see you later. Keep killing those monsters. And then the little son's like, he's like, oh, you got me.
Oh yeah,
it was so cute. But then Maria hit him with he's like, you were a refugee once too, and he's like,
yeah, he nods to her, then walks off.
Yeah,
and he's like, yeah, you're right about that. You got me.
Walks out.
Yep.
So then from this part it flips over to, well, actually he was at the desk. He's like, oh, what time is it? Oh, I gotta go. And I think that was not realizing until now this part, he was leaving because he had an appointment with Gail. So he's in therapy right now, and he goes. He pays her in weed, which is, hey, fuck it, And she's like, stems and whatever. What am I in high school? And, he's like, hey, it works nonetheless. Like it's the time of the year.
Yeah. And it's the actress who played Macaulay Culkin's mom in Home Alone.
Yeah,
she's playing this role, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, she's old. She's pretty damn old now.
Not 90s actress.
Oh, also
and in Beetlejuice. Yeah, that's right. True. Yep.
Maybe that's what made her more relevant, because she just did, because HBO and like Warner Brothers and all that are the ones that put Beetlejuice together.
Correct. Yeah.
And so that's probably why she got sourced to do this Last of Us, because it's coming out.
Makes sense. Yep.
Keeping in when they have like relevant actors, they're like, oh, hey, we're doing this. You want to do this? I like you in this, so I think you fit. So,
yeah, makes sense.
That makes sense. So then she goes. Joel gets there. She says that it's her birthday. And then she seems to have been drinking a little bit. So she offers Joel a drink, and then she's drinking clearly, and
well, that doesn't come out till later in the session where he points it out. He goes, "Oh, you've been drinking today," and that's why she's.
But I picked it up.
Did you really? Okay.
Stumbly, like not ditzy, but like buzzed.
Okay,
I picked that up.
All right, I just saw it as it was an early morning session, and she didn't have anybody else. Maybe just woke up, but then as the conversation starts going, it's like, okay, it makes sense that she's drinking.
She gets a little aggressive with words, and I'm like, yeah, she definitely had been sauced up a little bit. But she says it's her first birthday without her husband in 41 years. So who's Eugene? I don't remember.
So he was a character that was killed off in the game.
Okay.
And then they wanted to play on that storyline. So they brought it, they're like, how can we key in this character? And they're like, okay, or key in that storyline. They're like, okay, we're going to bring in the wife. And then that's what created this storyline with Joel and the therapist.
Okay, so in the game, why does he kill Eugene?
I don't recall that, but I would imagine it's because he turned, or he got bit in some way, but I'm not 100%.
So Joel had to take him out?
I believe so. Again, could be wrong. It's been a while since I've played the first game, and then I don't think we've seen that character in season 1 also.
Okay. Fair enough. So then he goes, our therapist is supposed to be drinking. She's like, I'm a psychotherapist. Or psychiatrist. No, my bad. Psychiatrists are the ones with the pills. I'm not. And so she's like, she's based. A psychotherapist is like really gonna put you in your place. I'm like, hey, I got you. Like, this, what I say goes, and they're a little bit more intense, you know. And as we see her, you have news.
Yeah, he was bitten by an infected while out on patrol.
Bing. I was right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Gail comments, suggests Joel was sadly forced to kill Eugene. Yeah.
So that's what it was.
So that checks out, because she would be way more pissed at Joel and not want to be his therapist
if he had killed him while he was just in perfect health.
Right.
Because she even alludes to it, right? She says that, she goes, I understand why you killed him. I still am angry about it, or something like that, right?
Did she say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't catch that part. So that checks out more. So that makes sense with why she made that comment, because he was infected, he got killed because he was going to murder probably people while on patrol. Okay, cool. So that checks out. But then she kind of like sniffs out Joel's bullshit. So as a psychotherapist, you can really pick up on people. They pick up on people's habits and like chunks of the story that doesn't make sense. They're really good at piecing that shit together. And she's like, this is where she comes clean. And she's like, all right, and I kind of like this line. She's like, you can't heal something unless you say it out loud. And it's true. You speak that stuff into fruition, like manifesting it, all the words you want to use to say this. But if you don't say it out loud, either to your loved ones or to your kiddos or to yourself, most of the time that stuff doesn't ever come. Yeah. And so that's what her making peace and understanding, like, Joel had to do this.
And that's when she goes into, saying that I hate you for this. And she goes, I said it. It's out there, and it's out there. Right. And now we can move past it. She goes,
Giving an example of what Joel needs to do.
Right. And then we see this intense, like, him going through the emotions, and
he starts crying.
I felt like he almost wanted to say it, but then his Joel mind just, like, switches, like, no, I can't say that because I did it for her to protect her from herself.
Yeah.
And then that's when he hits her with
that he just saved her.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's like, I saved her, and then gets up and walks the fuck out. Mm-hmm. And then we switch over to the garage scene.
Yeah. So then Ellie is in her room / garage. So she turned the garage into basically a studio, which is pretty cool. And then she's cleaning and prepping her weapons. And she now has a tattoo over the scar, which is a nice way to conceal the scar. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell what the tattoo is, but it looks kind of cool the way that they did it.
Yeah.
And then Dina comes to pick her up because she's her partner on the run that they need to go on. And that surprised Ellie because I don't think did she know who was originally going to go on the run with her? No, right? She just knew that she was going to go on one? Okay.
So Ellie's tattoo is like a butterfly / moth looking situation.
Oh, okay.
And it turns into like two different, like, one, it's like I don't even know how to explain it, but that's it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice. All right. Okay. So then Dina asked where she got her new rifle holster. Ellie says she traded Dominique for some old boots. And then it looks down and she's wearing some, like, Converse, yeah. And then Dina's like, you should have kept the boots. Especially there in winter. Yeah. And in the mountains, snowy, she's going to get frostbite or something at some point. So then Dina helps her put the holster on. And then you could see Ellie's face, and she's really enjoying how close Dina is to her, but she's trying to hide it at the same time.
Yeah.
And so here's where we start to get a little hint that she's into her.
Oh, and I got the meaning to her tattoo.
Okay. Oh, nice.
So, the moth is often drawn to the light, so it can be seen as a metaphor for seeking hope in the darkness.
And that has to deal with the fireflies.
Mirroring the struggles and triumphs Ellie faces.
Nice.
That's
so
awesome.
that has to play with the fireflies and their slogan. I forgot, it's on my shirt, the other shirt, but it has to deal with the light and stuff like that. So that makes sense. That's on par.
It does.
So then Dina tells Ellie that she looks like Curtis and Viper, characters in one of the movies Joel likes, and then invites Ellie to join them. She's trying to build. You can tell she's trying. Wait, did I say part? No. So she's saying that her and Joel are gonna watch a movie later, and that she should join them to try to. You can tell she's trying to build that bridge between them two.
Yeah.
But Ellie's like not having it. She's like, all right, let's go. I'm ready to leave on patrol. And then Dina and Ellie get their horses and meet at the briefing spot, and they're doing the Alpine run. So Jesse begins the briefing, and Dina raises her hand. She asks him if they should stick to the road, scan the countryside, hit our checkpoints, and sign the logbooks. And she did that as a way to get back at him for his comment about a couple of them being new to the trail and because they showed up late. So then Jesse says they have reports of strays, so be careful when they go into town. Jesse then says he sees Ellie looking like Curtis and Viper. And then Ellie's like, the fuck? And she's like looking down and like, do I really look? He's the second person to say that shit. So then a few of the people on patrol smirk. And then we find out it's the leader of the patrol that smirks. Mm-hmm. And then we see why they pan to her later on. He tells them they're on a recon patrol. If they see one or two runners, what they're calling some of the affected, so they do refer to some of them as runners. I don't know if they considered the one that they shot on that mountain a runner or not. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. I don't think
so. I heard one of them say stalker.
Oh, well, that's later in the episode. That's when we're going to get to that one.
Maybe those are stalkers because I think...
No, I know why it's not, because later on in the episode, we're going to get there, and it'll come into play later. So the patrol leader is Kat. Oh, no, wait, I skipped. So that if they see one or two runners, they can clear them out. That's fine. But anything worse, they go back and the town will send out a squad. So then the patrol leader is Kat. and she's the one that smirked. They will follow her orders. When they get back, the all clear sign is yellow. Yellow good, green bad. Which is weird to me. I would have figured it'd be flipped. Just as like how we use those two colors
like
for whatever.
Good.
Yeah. So I figured, whatever reason, they decided to give those two colors different designations. Don't know why. To me,
maybe because if anyone because they're talking on walkies, right?
No, they don't have walkies. The ones on patrol, the recon, no. They come back. They report on the logbooks, and then they come back, and then they'll alert them. Later on in episode 2 is where they start using walkies.
Right.
So
maybe it's just because anyone's listening to them, it's the exact opposite. So they're like, what's going on?
Or if anyone sees that,
yeah,
they won't know. They'll think like what we're thinking is green is good, yellow's. That makes sense. Actually, I like that theory. So on patrol, Dina asks Ellie if she's going tonight. Ellie says yes. Dina asks if she's going with anyone. Ellie says no. Dina asks why not. Kat's available. She tells her that because Kat is the other one. And then that's why now we know why the camera panned to her and she had a little smirk. So they were a thing previously.
Ellie and Kat,
correct. Right. Yeah. So then she goes, you used to with her, and she definitely left her mark. So Ellie says no. And then Dina realizes she's into someone else. Little does Dina know that it's her. Or maybe she kind of does and is dancing around it.
Yeah. I think I took that as she's like, oh, really? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But she's playing to Ellie like she doesn't know. That makes more sense because of what happens later in the episode. So
I was going to say, because Ellie makes it super obvious.
Yeah. There's no chill or gray area at all with that.
She is not, yeah.
No.
She then says Ellie can go with her. They can get baked and they can dance and bring in the new year together, BFFs 2029. So right now they're in 2028, and the next day will be 2029.
Right.
Ellie asks, aren't her and Jesse? Dina interrupts her saying no, broke up, yes again, for now. So they're on those on and off relationships, which I guess kind of makes sense because it is a fairly small town and they're in this
not
crazy
pick.
Yeah,
right. That's what I was gonna say. There's not many people at her age or she can pick.
True.
And either they're really old or they're probably really young, or she's just not into people that are her age.
Correct.
At that moment.
And then they're also in a post-apocalyptic world, so there's not much to choose from outside of that. That won't kill you or
go to the other town and figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no dating apps or anything social media here.
Kind of like the Guardians Galaxy is like there's not much to choose from. It was a tree or a
yeah. It was either him or a tree.
Nebula, right? Was the one
telling Gamora that she goes, him? She goes, either him or a tree. That's a good one. That's a good point. So they get to a spot on the road where there's a few infected dead bodies with a dead bear. Oh no, actually I skipped a part. They get to a part in the road where there's just blood splattered on the ground. Mm-hmm. And then Dina and Ellie catch up to them. And then Ellie sees this and immediately goes after it. And then Dina follows. And they're like, wait, no, we should get back, report this. And they're like, all right. And then they just follow them. So then they get to the spot where there's a few infected dead bodies and the dead bear.
Which up until now, they've never attacked animals, right?
Correct. Not that we've seen anyway.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because that's why they have dogs to help them on patrol. Because the dogs don't get infected. They don't attack the dogs.
Correct.
Okay.
So now I guess now the infected are having less and less people to just bite. So now they're going after that for maybe as food or whatever. So then Ellie notices a van that is parked in front of a building. It has blood, handprints, and footprints all over it. And so does the building. Mm-hmm. So then Dina says they've been sheltering in the market. Ellie says it looks like one of them made it back in. And then Dina asks, what do you call a grizzly's ribs? Barbecue. And then what I like about this... You
should have used that for the show.
That wouldn't have made you laugh, I guarantee you. But what I like is that they're keeping the dad jokes from season 1.
Yeah.
That whole bit with her and Joel. And they're still bringing it into season 2, which is awesome. Really and then, because Ellie's looking at her like, did you just make that up? She's like, I did. She goes, all right. Then they have a little giggle about it. It was really cute. So then the rest of the patrol catches up and asks to go back to the town now. Ellie and Dina get off their horses and say they will go back after they listen quick to see if any are in there, which is definitely Recon. She also says maybe there's a regular person in there who's trapped and needs help. And she's obviously just saying this to give the Recon leader a valid excuse to go in there. And then Dina's like, yeah, it could be an infant or a baby. And she's following it. And then
these two are such fucking brats together. Yeah. It's like it's a little different the dynamic, but like my two older girls, they're like, they got each other's back now all the time. And it's like,
that's awesome though.
Jesus Christ. Come on. We just
that's also for them too, but maybe not for you so much. Not me
and Sandy, no. Sometimes we're like, really? Yeah, really. Okay. You weren't just talking about some boy. Okay, cool. Yeah, right. Anyways, back to our normal scheduled, whatever.
Yeah. So then they climb the truck and the roof of the garage, then crouch down at the window. And I really like that the show is doing this because that's exactly what you do in the game. To listen, you crouch, and then the rest of the scene or the area that you're in goes grayscale.
Yeah.
And then you can see the clickers, the runners or whatever, their body lit up in white. But obviously they're not going to do that in the show, but when they do crouch down and listen, that's a total nod to the game, and I was loving it. So then Ellie hears one, says 2-on-1, then tries to go in immediately, but then Dina holds her. She stops her. She holds up one finger and then giving the sign to wait. And then they listen a little longer, and she hears another one, and she holds up the second finger. So Ellie's like, all right, well, 1-on-1, we've done that before. So then they go in, and then Dina hesitates while looking around. Ellie says, if you'd rather... Oh, no, before they go in, while she's listening more, she's looking around, and then while she's doing that, Ellie says, if you'd rather let the men handle it, to get Dina to go in themselves. And she like looks at her, gives her a little look, and then she's like, all right, let's go. Yeah. Like, I know what you're doing, and it works. So they enter, and then they see one dead body, and then Dina gives hand signals and on which way each should go. And this plays to that little dynamic that they both have each other's back, because they're not giving actual hand signals, but they know what each other's saying. So then before making their moves, Dina again gives hand signals on the plan of attack. She says she's going in to stab her infected, tells Ellie to use a beer bottle to cause a distraction so Ellie can kill hers. And then I like this part too, because this is exactly what you do in the game. You can pick up nice. Beer bottles.
Oh, I thought you meant the scene itself.
The scene also is too. They go in and she does fall through a market, and it's very close to the game, this whole scene. But you can use beer bottles to throw to cause a distraction, and bricks too. You can use bricks to hit them. You can use both beer bottles and bricks to hit them, but also to make noise to get them to go somewhere else. So I was loving that they're actually focusing on that, because it's a key element of the game. Ellie's looking around, sees a wall of Employee of the Month photos. And then Ellie sees that a dog is the Employee of the Month for July, and she smiles at it. You would have loved that. So then she hears an infected getting closer, so she throws the bottle. The infected goes near the sound. Ellie creeps over the broken bottle glass shards, and as soon as she gets close enough, she jumps on the infected's back and starts stabbing him. Yeah, because it looks like a guy. Yeah. Him in the neck over and over until he's down. And then Dina comes over to check on Ellie. She asks, did she get bit? Does she have to shoot her in the face? Ellie replies, not today. And then I'm loving the banter between them. It's nice to see. It's funny. Mm-hmm. So then Ellie starts to walk back towards the window. They entered. She stops, turns around, and starts to tell Dina about the Employee of the Month, while then falls through the floor. And then falls on like a shelving unit. Yeah. And then Dina goes to check her out, and she goes, are you okay? Ellie says, yes, nothing's broken. She doesn't think. Yeah. Dina asks if she's alone, and Ellie replies she doesn't hear anything. And then here's where the episode starts to pick up. So we get some creepy stuff going on, and it's freaking awesome. Ellie doesn't see a way out on her floor. Dina says she's going to try to find a stairwell or something to figure out a path back up to her floor. She tells Ellie to stay put, and of course Ellie does not do this. And she starts wandering around looking for, her own way out. Ellie gets distracted by a People's magazine because she starts sifting through it like a 19-year-old woman would. And then while she's rifling through it, I don't know if you caught it on the first time watching, but while she's looking at the magazine and over her left shoulder, you can see a person crouched down, looking at her. And then while she's looking through the magazine, we see that person on that top shelf crawl away.
Crawl across, yeah.
That's the first time I seen it, or on the first watch, I only seen the crawling away part. And I'm like, oh, there was something back there. You
didn't see it just sitting there?
I didn't see it just sitting there because I was looking at her, looking at the magazine.
I thought it was a little kid.
It kind of looked like that.
It does. It kind of looks like one, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to why it looks like that. So she hears that person crawl away, puts the magazine down quickly and turns and holds her gun up to her chest. She's ready to start hunting. So then after a few steps, she puts her handgun away, takes out her shotgun, cocks it to try to get the infected to hear it and, come charging at her, because that's what most of the ones that they have encountered do. But nothing happens. So then while making her way around the room, we can see the person stalking her while crawling on the floor. And it looked like she was on the adjacent aisle.
Yeah.
The way that they're making it look, and then walking together. So then when Ellie gets to the end of the aisle, we don't see we'll call her a stalker, which is exactly what she's doing. And it's what they refer to her as later. So then she turns around and she turns the opposite way. And then the person comes out and starts gasping. And it kind of sounds like a human at first because it's just gas. And then Ellie turns back around, looks at them, and then looks at that person for a bit and says, "Run at me, fucker." And then the thing just sits there. And then it starts to change the sounds that it's making.
Yeah.
And then she yells at the person, "Run at me." And then the person runs back down the aisle. So then she goes to chase after it and then looks down the aisle. Gone. So then she starts to walk towards the direction she thinks it went. And then as she's walking, the camera's in front of her. Behind her, what I can only describe as like those shelving carts that people use to when they're stocking up shelves, the little cart that they put the items on.
You think that's what it was? For me, it looked like it's like these floating gondolas is what they call them. Like you can put anywhere all over the grocery store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like a circular thing. So like in theory, the way it kind of looked like a UFO with another UFO on top, because usually there's mist that comes out of those.
Oh,
or light around it.
From what I could tell, it was more rectangle. That's why I thought it was one of those stocking carts that people have, and they put on.
You can put groceries on it or whatever.
Fair point.
But it was underneath is where she comes out of.
Yeah,
because there's a compartment underneath.
Mm-hmm. So we start seeing her crawl, and then we get the first look at this person. So then when she comes out of that little cart thingy, we get the first shot of the person's face, and it seems to be a woman. The fungus is growing out of her head like a crown.
Yeah.
Now, I was wondering if they did this to symbolize that she's the next evolution of the infected. To be like a crown, you know what I mean? So the higher of the evolution or hierarchy.
Yeah. Because she seems more conscious of what's happening. And so there's not that much of a difference between... Well, there's a huge difference. No, it's still dead. But yeah, it just seems to be more cognitive of what's happening.
Yeah. So a higher evolution. That's why that was the best word I could describe.
That's cool. I didn't think about putting that together, like the crown and how that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. So that's what I thought. So then Ellie hears her, then quickly turns back around and fires immediately, but she's not there.
Gone.
Yeah. And then from Ellie's right side, out of nowhere, she comes running and tackles her. And then she drops the shotgun out of her hand. And then they grapple on the ground. And then the subtitles don't show this. And I want you to go back and rewatch this. But I swear you can hear the infected woman say something like Aicha. And then right before she goes to bite her. I promise you, I played this back like 2 or 3 times. it sounds like she makes out actual words. To me, that's the closest words I could hear.
Do you know if they ever become intelligent enough?
I don't know that.
Okay.
I don't think they would. I can't say that because I haven't completed the game. So she says that right before she gets by her stomach and bites her. That's why it also makes me think that that's what she said or something close to that. Once you rewatch it, let me know. Actually, I was planning on playing the sound. Do you want me to find it and play it? So I don't know if you guys make those words out that I hear, but yeah, it sounded to me like it said that. But anyway, so while she is getting bit, Ellie grabs her handgun.
Those are my favorite words to say to Sandy. I'll eat you.
Oh my God.
All right. I'm sure Sandy loves to hear that too. All right. So then Ellie, she pulls out her handgun and fires twice into the woman's torso. Yeah. And then Ellie looks at her bite on her stomach. And if you look closely, the image will be up there for you all. You can see little fungus tentacles coming out of the bite.
Already.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So then Dina yells out, Ellie, are you okay? Ellie, it's me. And then Ellie hides her bite mark and holsters her gun. So then next, we see Dina and Ellie in front of the town's council. And Tommy's asking her, so what you're saying is what? Smart? And then Ellie's like, it's such a smart ass. Ellie's like, I don't know if I could do math or anything. But she goes, but she tells him that it didn't run at her. It does what they do. Took cover, planned, waited, lured her in, stalking. Mm-hmm. So that's why we refer to her as stalker. So then Tommy's wife, Maria, asks Dina, you saw this? Dina replies, mm-hmm. It was exactly like Ellie says. And then Tommy asks, how exactly does you two running into an unclear building qualify as following the rules and obeying your captain? And then Ellie replies, you're telling me if it were you and Joel, you wouldn't have gone in? And then Tommy's like, well, that ain't the same. Ellie's like, why? He's like, because it's different. And then Maria right away was like, why? Or no, she goes, how? And then he just doesn't reply. He's like, look.
Yeah.
Such like a husband and wife, like, yeah, you're right. It's not. So then Maria tells the girls to apologize to Kat and log your report with Jesse. And then the council talks. They question if they are telling the truth. And Maria says Dina's lying. She didn't see anything, but she believes Ellie. So then Tommy says maybe the smart one was a one-off. And then they worry about the 6 that took down the grizzly. And Tommy says 6 ain't a horde. Maria replies, not yet. But lately she's been having a feeling. And then the council deliberates a little bit more. And then Tommy notices it's, he looks at his watch and notices it's only 4 hours away from New Year's. He goes, are we adjourned? And they're like, yeah. So then Ellie cuts her bite mark to the bite mark. She cuts it, the teeth marks off. Like she cuts along the teeth marks to hide that it's a bite mark. Did you notice that?
Is that what she does?
Yeah.
She doesn't heat the knife?
She heats it to sterilize it so that it to cauterize the cut the bite mark, but she cuts it in a way to hide that the bite marks. So she cuts along
I thought she just put the hot knife. I didn't realize that she was cutting it too.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So then after that...
Smart girl.
Yeah. So then after that, she writes in her notebook the Grizzly Ribs dad joke punchline.
Yeah.
And then she writes, don't fuck it up twice. So then she hears a knock at the door and says, come in, and it's Joel. And this is the first time we see them two together
interact
in a scene this season. Yeah. So then they try to talk to each other, but it just feels really awkward between them. So you could, like, the tension, you can cut it with a knife. So then he looks over, he sees the guitar he gave her, and he asks if she's been playing much. She says, yeah, a bit. He picks it up and notices the strings are bad and says he'll fix it for her and rushes out with it. And she's like, no, you don't have to. And then he's like, I got it. I'll have it back to you tomorrow or something like that. And
I mean, I don't blame Ellie for being annoyed with him because Joel's annoying to me. Watching how he acts, but again, he hasn't been a father in a long time. I get that's not his real daughter.
But he also never got to this point in the father-daughter relationship because his daughter died.
I'm figuring it out.
True, but you're not figuring out about fighting infected people outside and having to worry about a town on top of that.
No, yeah. I mean, I hear you. I still go to work.
Yeah.
I still deal with the bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just think Joel... Some people just don't have the emotional capacity to be able to be compassionate with a kid. You know what I mean?
True.
And he's struggling hard.
Yeah,
but
he is.
Him being in therapy is showing that he does care.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So.
Very true. I think it's the main thing causing this rift between them is that he knows he's lied to her. And I feel like... Because we all seen it in Ellie's face at the end of season 1. She said okay, but I still think she doubts that he's telling the truth. So, and that's how I feel like how she's acting.
What was the exact lie that he's saying?
That there was no cure.
Right. Okay. I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the truth is she was going to die by them trying to create a cure from her.
Yeah. So, no, the cure, the lie was...
blood. The lie was that the fireflies weren't going to kill her.
Yeah, the lie was that they were gonna, that other people had the cure too, and that's how they were gonna find it. I believe that's what it was.
Right.
Yeah, and okay. So that's why I think is causing this big rift between them two. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like she knows that he lied, and she's just going along with it, and then he's dealing with the dilemma that he did lie to her, and he doesn't know how to get past that.
Or come clean.
Correct.
Why he lied.
Yeah. So then as
a kiddo, you don't want your kid to carry that guilt of like, I'm the only hope this world has, but that means I die. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He wants her to grow and live her life.
Yeah.
Which I don't get why her blood. I'm like, she's immune to them because she was bit by it when her mom was bit by it, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't. It's not so much the blood. It was in the brain.
Right.
It was something a chemical in the brain that they can replicate because the brain is telling her body that it already is infected, or it's like finding a way to fight the infection because it already recognizes it in her body. But
because the way the cordyceps work, it's not like a normal zombie where you go brain dead. You know what I mean? Because these cordyceps are like, it's like they work with his hive mind. That's how they're all connected. That's how they can communicate through the lines. So the cordyceps, the whole little squirrely things go into the brain. Mm-hmm. So it connects to the neural link. There's like a neural link between them.
Yeah, it's a fungus. And
yeah. The way this
the fungus that's in the pipeline.
Right. Correct.
Yeah, well, that's how
they all connected.
Yeah, well, that happens in the next episode. We won't get there yet.
We jumped the gun a little bit.
I wonder if Ellie is part of them. Just like the higher evolution.
No, because because she got bit while she was pregnant, it was a different process. Or while her mom was pregnant with her, because it was in that process, that's what changed her brain to be able to, the way it reads those cordyceps and that fungus. Mm-hmm. They explained it really well in season 1. I just haven't seen it in a while.
I'm like, wouldn't it be in her though already? Because she's gotten bit so much though.
Twice.
Right, but that's the thing.
3 times. 3 times, right?
Yeah, that's the thing about her brain is that it's already recognizing that, and it's telling her body that it's not a new infection.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If her blood gets into somebody else's, wouldn't they change?
I don't think so because hers is a rare and specific kind of infection.
Because it's not like a cold where you contract it through your immune system. It's neurological. Once you get bit, it goes to the bloodstream, but it goes directly to the brain.
Mm-hmm. But the way that they explain it is because her mom got bit while she was still pregnant with her, that it changed the process of it. This is the way that they...
So it doesn't recognize the infection as an infection.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's part of essentially her DNA.
Yeah. Again, we got to remember science fiction. So we can't try to dissect this too much.
Yeah, true.
So then... At the New Year's dance, Ellie is watching Dina have fun dancing. Jesse and Ellie talk. She tells him they will be back together in 2 weeks tops. He replies, not going to happen. Ellie and Dina start slow dancing together. They flirt for a bit. Ellie says Dina is so drunk. Dina says no, hi. She smoked a lot. Ellie tells her all the guys are staring at Dina. Dina says maybe they're staring at Ellie. They talk a bit more, and Dina lets Ellie know she is into her by saying all the guys in the room should see her as a threat for being with Dina. And then they kiss for a bit, and then this asshole named Seth interrupts them, saying it's a family event. Then Dina apologizes, but the guy still stands there looking at them. Dina apologizes again, and then they start to leave, and he says, "You're in a church," and then calls them the lesbian slur that starts with a D. We will not say that on this podcast. And then Ellie turns back and is like, "The fuck did you just say?" And then before she could do anything, another out of freaking nowhere person comes, and it's Joel, and he pushes Seth to the ground.
Yeah.
And tells him to get the hell out of there. And he asks Ellie if she's okay. She gets pissed and asks him what is wrong with him. She doesn't need his help. And then she's like, "I don't need your fucking help."
Yeah.
In front of everybody. Everybody's watching this. And then Joel replies, "Right." And then, like tail between his leg, walks out. And he's embarrassed. And then he's also just got yelled at by his quote unquote daughter. Yeah. So then he leaves, and then we see the therapist watching him. Gail, right? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we see Gail watching it. And then she's just like piecing together. I guess she's just prepping for her next session with him. Like, yeah, I know what's going on. So then Ellie arrives home and sees Joel playing the guitar. They look at each other. Then Ellie walks down the driveway to her room/garage. They just share this look, and then it's almost like a stare off. And then she just like turns and starts walking.
So annoying.
So then a group of people are playing with sparklers. One of them drops one by the pipeline that was broken open from earlier in the episode. And then this is where we see the fungus vines reacting to it. And then we see Abby and her group arriving near the town in the mountains. And then that's the episode. So they've found that town that they've been hunting, or they find a town that they think he's at. And that was the nice way to end the first episode. It left us on a little bit of a cliffhanger, like, what's going to happen? And the next episode is really good.
Crazy.
We cannot wait to talk to you guys about that.
Yeah, we'll be covering episode 2 and 3 together on this next episode.
On this, the next one that we cover, but it's going to be good. So if you guys haven't watched it, watch it now. Yeah. So I'm excited for this season. This start of this season looks promising, and I haven't seen episode 3 yet, but episode 2, no, not yet. We're probably gonna watch that tonight. Yeah. Episode 2 was fucking awesome. It was so good. Yeah.
Sandy was like pissed. Pissed. I told you. So she saw some spoilers on TikTok. She's like, "Oh, I saw spoilers. I didn't realize it was gonna do that."
That's the one negative thing of social media is the spoilers. People love ruining shit for others. You know what I mean? It sucks. But we will be getting those episodes to you soon. Let us know what you all thought about this episode, your likes, dislikes, and also if things from the games that you guys spotted that we didn't, let us know, because I'm sure there was many. There's also the timeline. Well, we talked about it. That they sped up a little bit because they gave us background on Abby that we didn't get in the game.
Yeah,
which was nice to see, and that's what I'm loving about this series is that they're expanding on it.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it for us today. We want to thank you all for joining us yet again. And Kike, even in an infected horde, if we survive it, I am with you.
To the end of the line. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Also, hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all our new episodes and more.